Hey everybody, this is Kaboom, and welcome to this video where we discuss some of the reasons why your Iron Golem farm might not be working. If you're like me, I recently built an Iron Golem farm in my survival world, and I was not getting hardly any spawns. Finally got like one spawn in, and then they just weren't coming in. And I see a lot of these Iron Golem tutorials, but one of the things that they forget to tell you about, or what they leave out, is that your villagers have to claim these beds and they have to work at these plots or whatever trade or that you give them. So if you build an Iron Golem farm and you put these villagers in there and then you introduce a zombie to them, they will not go to sleep. They're in panic mode right now, and they will just keep running around and running around, and they will never sleep. And if they don't ever sleep, then they'll never spawn golems. So if I was to, you can see this golem here, what I did was I spawned in these villagers on these beds, and I did not have this guy here, and I waited for a night and day cycle. And at night, the villagers went to sleep in the beds. They woke up the next day and they did their little work at the station that they're supposed to do, and then I introduced the zombie. Then when I introduced the zombie, they went into panic mode and they started gossiping, and then that's when the Iron Golem spawned in. So I sat here for almost 5 minutes. I spawned these 3 villagers in, they all picked up their trades. I spawned a zombie in. I came over here and I waited, and no golem spawned in. No golem spawned, no golem spawned. And I waited and I waited and I waited and waited through a whole cycle, and nothing ever spawned. Well, that got me asking, okay, that's the same problem I was having in my survival world, so why? So I did a little research, and that's the conclusion that I came to. Something else I would recommend is when you introduce your villagers into the area that you're going to have them, be sure that these guys are not there, but also I would, just to make sure that, there we go, just to make sure that it's that these villagers claim these beds, I would put the villagers in here. I would take up these 3 beds and then put them back down, and you can even do that for the workstations if you want, just to make sure, and then that way they will claim these. If you have a villager that comes over here already with a trade or with a profession, and say he's a farmer, but you don't have one of these farm compost plots for him, and let's say you have the stone mason thing, if he doesn't change profession, then that means he's not working at that workstation, which means he hasn't claimed it, and then you will not get an Iron Golem to spawn in then. So you'll need to place down a farmer compost box so that farmer has a workstation to work at if he doesn't change his trade. So, but most of the time they do, but I actually ran into that issue too. Another thing that you'll want to check is to be sure that your villagers have a line of sight to your zombie. I noticed that when I had some half blocks up there, these villagers were not able to see the zombie. So just check. You might be really surprised. One of my builds, I had glass across here, and the villagers seemed like they didn't want to look through the glass, even though you should be able to see through it. So I recommend making this area open with no blocks, maybe half blocks, and be sure, you may find success in raising or lowering your zombie 1 block up or down, or moving the blocks around for the vision of the villagers, because they can be tricky because they're jumping up on the beds and these things. So if they don't see that zombie, they're not going to get into the panic mode, and they will not spawn in golems. So those are 3 things that I found that could really change the production rates and really make your Iron Golem farm work, especially if you're like me, where you build something and then you're like, I did everything they showed me in that tutorial, but I'm not getting any spawns, and Tango's getting 12 Iron Golems spawning every 30 seconds. So I think if you check those things, you'll find out that they could improve or increase your Iron Golem spawn rate. And also, if you have an issue with the Iron Golem farm, you can say you built it like the tutorial and you can't get it to work, leave me a comment or hit me up on Twitter and send me a picture of what you got or your video. I'll take a look at it and see if I can help you figure out what's going on with it. So this is Kaboom. Thanks for listening and watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and have a good one. Bye.